Welcome to the Aimmee Kodachian and the Expert Show, where we bring some of the top experts in the world to help you transform your business and personal life. And sometimes we bring inspirational stories to just let you see your life in a whole different perspective. I am your host, Aimmee Kodachian.
Not Kardashian. And I'm your co-host for a little bit longer, Stephanie Thompson. I'm a classically trained singer-songwriter. Well, in this episode, our guest is Kevin Holtman, and he is an attorney, and he's going to be talking about what to do before an accident, during an accident, and after an accident, which is really great information.
Yeah, but let's hope no accident will happen. But
yes.
Things happen to your friends, to your loved ones, and you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to prepare. I mean, to be ready for everything. You never know. Hopefully, you never, ever need it. Yeah. But if it happened, then you're prepared, right?
Right.
You're not
Absolutely.
shocked.
Yep.
Good. So we have 4 segments. Each segment, we're going to talk about something totally different, preparing and all that stuff. So what do we need to do before anything happens?
Yeah, so the important thing is to make sure that you know what your insurance coverage is. A lot of people, they think they're fully covered, and I've heard that a lot with clients that come in and say, well, I have full coverage, but they don't fully understand what that means. So the minimum policy here in Nevada is a 15-30-10. Okay. What that means is that your insurance company for liability will pay out $15,000 per person, $30,000 per accident, and $10,000 for the property damage. Mm-hmm. So if somebody who has the minimum policy hits you and you're severely injured, the most you're going to get is $15,000.
Wow.
Okay.
So even if your car is completely damaged.
Yep, exactly. If you're a total vehicle, they'll pay $10,000 to repair the vehicle, but for the injuries, you're only going to get $15,000.
So how about if the other person have an insurance?
If they don't have insurance?
If you have a full insurance, the other person have only bad insurance.
Here's where you need to protect yourself. You have to have what's called underinsured or uninsured. Okay.
Underinsured and uninsured.
Yep. It goes by either UM or UIM. That's the kind of where the insurance reads it. And what that is whatever your limits on your liability are will then translate to pay the deficiency for the other person. So an example for what that would be is, let's say you have very good coverage and you have the 100-300 on yours, which means you have 100 per person, 300 per accident for your liability coverage, which is a fantastic one. If you can do that, great, because that's protecting your assets. If you have the UIM and somebody hits you with the minimum policy, well, now you have $115,000 that can cover. Because if you're seriously injured, your liability coverage will then kick over for the UIM. So you'll have an extra $100,000 that you can then use for your medical treatment, your pain and suffering, lost time at work, all of that.
Okay.
So it's very important to understand what you have for coverage.
For coverage.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you a question. So if you have so many people, they don't know this, and that's what the show's all about. It's not like you're ignorant or anything, but they don't really have the time, to look at their thing. I have somebody told me, well, I have insurance from my job for my health. If something happened, I'm covered. So I don't need to buy too much. Tell us about that.
And that's true that they'll get some of that coverage. Well, here's where it kind of comes into the gray area. You're going to have a copay in a lot of those situations, or your insurance may only pay 80-20.
That's right.
So you may have to cover 20% of that cost. So it's money out of your pocket.
Oh, okay.
Where if you have the UIM, you don't have to pay any of that. Because that you're getting reimbursed, and that those payments are going directly to the medical provider, essentially, if you do it on lien or have an attorney who's helping you through that. So it's important. While it's great to have the health insurance, obviously everybody has to have it, and it's great to have that as something to fall back on.
Sure.
But you won't get pain and suffering out of that. You won't get lost time from work. Because those are not covered for your health insurance. They're only covered through the other types of payments.
Now, if you have another, your coverage $150,000, and say you had surgeries or whatever cost way more than 150.
Yeah.
What happened there?
A lot of times what happens is your health insurance may kick in, or if you have an attorney, you can get a lot of those reduced down. Okay. The amounts that is billed out is more than what your insurance may pay as well. So the medical providers understand that. They know that they're billing out amount that maybe they won't get the full amount back. So if you have an attorney involved, they can negotiate with the medical provider, ask them to reduce down. Exactly. So that you can at least get those covered, and possibly hopefully have some in your pocket as well to cover that pain and suffering, the time off from work, and all of that.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, so what if someone hits you who doesn't have insurance?
If you don't have the UM/UIM, you don't recover. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about their insurance coverage. They think they have full coverage, but they don't. Okay. You know, they may have just the minimum. Another issue too is if they don't have collision on their car, okay, which is another added part onto there.
Right.
If somebody hits them, or if there's a multi-car accident and the person has the minimum policy, their car may not be fixed to the full value. I have some clients right now actually who do not have collision, and there was multiple cars involved in the accident, and so their car literally has been sitting in the garage broken down because they can't have any money to fix it, because we're still arguing over the breakdown of that $10,000 to be split among both vehicles. Okay. So it kind of becomes an issue, and that's why you really need to talk to either ask an attorney, give me a call and ask me if you have any questions, or talk to your insurance agent. Make sure you understand what every single thing you have on your insurance is going to pay for and cover.
Now there is a gap insurance. Is that something they can go through the insurance company or the loan?
Yeah, and
company?
that's a little different. The gap insurance, what that covers is to make sure that the value of your vehicle is covered. Okay, so that isn't going to affect anything about an accident necessarily. It's not going to affect the bodily injury part, because it's just on the vehicle's value, so and if there's a difference there.
If the vehicle, for example, you bought it for $20,000, and then you drove it out, the value
goes down.
And then because they're taking interest, obviously. Yep. So the vehicle alone is $15,000, and then there is an interest on it. Yes. So what happens is the insurance paying only the $15,000.
Correct.
And they don't pay the gap.
Correct.
The $5,000 extra.
Correct.
So and then you're stuck to pay for that.
Yes.
So having a gap insurance is very, very important.
It can be, exactly. I mean, that's why you really need to understand what your coverage is. I mean, if you don't know what those different values mean, or what the little letters that they put next to your coverage line are,
how do we do that?
Ask your insurance agent. That's one way to do it. Or talk to an attorney, and they can help explain it to you as well. But really make sure that you talk to your insurance agent so that you know exactly what your coverage is, so that if you are involved in an accident, you know you're covered. You know what you're going to get.
You're safe, and you know what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, before we run out of time, we have another session, 3 more to go. But still, I would like you to give your phone number, website, or whatever to get hold of you.
Yep, you can call me at 702-569-4789, or you can go to my website, which is www.holtmanlaw.com. You can also email me at kholtman, HOLTMAN, @holtmanlaw.com.
Okay, for now, we learned a lot. Yes. And there is way more to learn about this stuff. I mean, that's why lawyers, they go to school to college for years, right?
Yes.
So we have a lot to learn from you, and we're looking forward to learn more. Stay tuned with us. If you're watching on any social media, just go to akexperts.com to watch all of the segments that we recorded so far. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon.